Welcome to the Warriors Podcast, a revelatory journey into the unseen battle of the soul. Here we engage in uncompromising truth and seek empowering wisdom to stand firm in the face of spiritual warfare. Tuning in allows you to awaken, armor up, and walk in victory. Wake up, wake up, wake up, warriors. All right, you guys, welcome to another episode of the Warrior Podcast. I'm your host, Takoa. You guys can call me Coco, feel free. Usually I have like a bunch of notes and I'm going over a specific topic, but this one was on my specific topic was mindset. Literally, I talk about warfare all the time and how, we don't really see it, but it's happening. And I am in the middle of spiritual warfare. I will say the middle. I guess I'm always in some type of spiritual battle. That's what happens when you're on a journey of self-growth and learning to love yourself and valuing your relationship with God. There will always be temptation or, things of the flesh, or, there will always be moments of battle throughout your day and throughout, your life. So constant battle, but I am in the middle of a war zone, I would say that. And how I manage to maintain myself. It's important to maintain yourself and your character and your values between, it all is mindset. I have learned through my life journey that mindset is so important. I even went to get certified as a mindset coach. So, to help people overcome the negative thinking that they're going through. And, the most important thing I can say is, as a man thinketh, so is he. So literally, like, as you think, that is the results that you will come into in your life. Whatever you're going through, you'll always be going through different things, but how you react to those things, how you see yourself in those things, how you maintain your light throughout the dark times that you go through is going to be one of the most important things I can ever show you how to do, teach you how to do, or just inform you about. So it's literally the power of your thoughts. So say for instance, they have a problem with you and they're arguing with you, or they just act negatively towards you. You have choices. The choices you make determine your energy and your outcome and the field of energy that you put around you. You can respond negatively, but I always say, like, don't go low. When people go low, you want to stay high or remain neutral the best of your ability. Because when you understand that you're not going against, remember I said you're not fighting against people, you're fighting against spiritual princes and spiritual provinces and nations who are trying to get you out of character and get you off of your horse. But we want to maintain our balance and we want to stay on our horse, and we want to make sure we're always constantly thinking of what is the right thing that I should be doing in this moment. So I was recently faced with a realization of how easy it is to fall into just sinful nature, or to separate yourself from the love of God, or to place idols before God. How easy it is to fall into that. And that is the basis of what spiritual warfare is. It's about maintaining yourself and staying on your horse. So for instance, you get bored. Me personally, like, sometimes I just get bored and I want to go do something. And, the old me would be like, let's go out, party, let's go have a night of dancing and things like that. But when you put yourself in those predicaments or those situations or those environments, more so environments, you allow yourself to be faced with things that are normalized in those environments. And we know what that pertains to: drinking, smoking, promiscuity, things of that nature, literally associating yourself with people who are constantly in that environment. It's very rare. It's not impossible, but I would say very rare that you go out to some of these situations and then you find somebody who's aligned with the Lord and with light, and if you do, it might be a facade, or, maybe the both of you just decided that you wanted to have a night out and you just happened to link up. That's the power of vibrations and frequencies. You attract who you are. So it's not impossible, but it is very rare. So a lot of times when I put myself in those situations, I know I'm going in alone, I'm coming out alone, I'm not looking for anything out of this, I'm not taking anything from out of this. It's just a relief per se. But even then, you have to be careful what you choose to relieve yourself with. Wise words. I'll write that one down. Be careful what you choose to relieve yourself with. And a lot of times when I get into those mindsets of I'm bored, I'm this, it's because I'm not focused. Somebody had talked about discipline and restraint, and a person who is not focused has a lack of restraint. I believe it's in the Bible, but if you're not focused, you have a lack of restraint because you don't know what direction you're going into. You're more likely to lean on things that aren't positively providing what you need. You're most likely to be coming from a place of lack, so you're looking to fill yourself up because you're not in a place of being whole. So you definitely have to be careful of what you choose to align yourself with, what you're looking for, and how you're thinking. If you're thinking, oh, I'm bored, it's probably because you're supposed to be doing something else, or there is something you can do, but you're just avoiding it and procrastinating. So back to how a man thinketh. So literally, like, the way you think is so important. And this is going to be a personal testimony into the revolutionizing of my thinking and my thought processes. So years ago, I'll say years ago, like as if I'm like 50 and this is like talking about the 1970s or something. So years ago, I was battling with depression constantly, like battling with depression, just sad, just no focus, no goals. I had goals. I guess I always have. I'm very goal driven. I probably was very goal driven at the time, just battling with depression and constantly on the move. So even that can be like a sign of escape, like you're escaping something, so you're constantly grinding and moving and keeping yourself busy. So I was battling with depression, and I'm literally like, what is going on? And it wasn't until I said, okay, I have to change the way I'm thinking. Like, I'm viewing myself as if I'm a prisoner in the world, when truly I create the world I want to see. Everything I've ever desired is at my fingertips. All I have to do is just get up and go get it and, work towards achieving the very thing I'm looking to get, instead of, woe is me, why don't I have it already? So I think that was like one of the biggest eye openers. I remember I was watching this series called The Queen's Gambit, and I don't know why I stumbled upon it. I don't know what made me watch it, because I'm not a TV person by far, but I ended up binging this series. And this girl, it was about a girl who was a chess player, and she was like, whatever they call the master chess player. I don't know what they call them, but she was going to be that, whatever that is. And literally, she had went through depression, I think because her mom passed away, which is understandable. You're going to be sad, but she went through depression, and she's like wasting all of her talent. And one of her friends comes to see her, and she's like, what's going on? She's like, I'm just so depressed, and I'm going through this, and I'm drowning myself in alcohol. And her friend had said something so profound that it stuck with me to this day. And I probably watched this like, I don't know, look up when The Queen's Gambit came out, because when it came out, that's when I watched it. So years ago. And literally, the friend said something so simple. She said, stop digging. Stop digging. And I was like, wow. Like, we take our lives and put it into the hands of the world a lot of times, when we underestimate how much power we truly have over the destiny of our own lives. And it's not like we have all the power, because God is in control. But if you really just submit to him, and you stay on the positive, and you lather yourself in peace and joy at all times, knowing that God has worked everything out for your good, you will be on just a good path. But a lot of times we just stop. We're on a roller coaster, and we just tell them to stop the roller coaster. I don't want to get to this end destination. I don't want to see where it goes any further. I'm quite done. I'm finished. I've had enough. And that is a quitting mindset. And as warriors, one thing I will say is, don't quit. Take a pause, take a breather, take a moment to gather yourself, take up camp, but do not quit. Maintain yourself. And that's what I will call this episode. Maintain yourself. It is so important to keep up with your personal maintenance, and not just in a hygiene sense, but in a mental sense. Like, make sure you are saying good things to yourself. You are providing positive lights around you. You are, just being the best you that you can be on a consistent basis and not drowning yourself in negative thinking or thoughts that the enemy might have planted in you. You literally have to combat those negative thoughts on a day-to-day basis. And it's so funny because like we go through these thoughts, these day-to-day processes, and no one else is going through it with us. Sometimes we look for people, outside sources, to kind of come along this journey with us. But when you fully understand that your journey is your journey, like there are seasons, like this is a season where I am hidden. Like God has kept me safe, kept me hidden, kept me at peace for so long, so that when I do go out in the world and I'm dealing with chaos, I'm dealing with whatever I'm dealing with, I know that I can always retreat back to my safe space, which is with Him and only Him. So I think we put so much reliability and we just rely so much on those outside of ourselves, when really it's everything starts from inside. And your mind is so important to control. That's why I'm not a big TV person. Like when I say I'm not a big TV person, I'm not a big TV person. Literally right now I'm binging like the House of David Christian shows, because I'm very particular about what I allow into myself and into my brain and into my thought processes and into who I am. Who you are, what you eat. And that goes for consuming media as well as what you put in your body. You are what you eat. Whatever you consume, I think that's a better way to say it. You are what you consume on a daily basis. And we live in a society where we're set up to consume foolishness. We're set up to consume negativity. Our mainstream music is filled with negativity and hate and just not gentleness. And I think we need to get back to a place where we learn to be gentle with ourselves. We learn to really, we've lost respect for ourselves in some senses of the term. Like we no longer respect ourselves. We look for everything outside of ourselves. We're coming from a place of lack and not from a place of wholeness. So we settle on things that we think will make us happy momentarily or fulfill us in some way. But if these things aren't sent from God, if they aren't aligned with the Most High, if it don't look like God, smell like God, taste like God, feel like God, then it's probably not. God is so full of peace and love. And if you find yourself in a situation or relationship with something, anything, a job or anything of that matter, that doesn't feel like that or represent that, then it's probably not where you're supposed to be or who you're supposed to be with or how you're supposed to be dealing with, that season in your life. And the faster you realize that, the better off you are. A lot of times we'll try and talk ourselves out of common sense. It's like, I know better, but there is no but when it comes to living a lifestyle of being at war. You're literally at war. You have to be very precise and intentional with every move you're making and every thought you're thinking. And don't allow, so a lot of times other people will say things about ourselves. So I'm very quick to, if somebody says something like negative, like, oh, that's just Dakoa, she's just always talking foolishness. No, I'm not. I'm usually very often talking wisely. I'm very often talking, precisely. Every once in a while I'll say something random or I'll lighten a mood, but usually I'm saying something with substance. And that's important to do, is to reiterate who you are to yourself rather than what other people say you are. If you have to think about the thoughts you say to yourself and write some of them down, because you'll be surprised, but these are thoughts that you say to yourself that aren't true. And my mom was talking about this method when she thinks of something negative. Somebody has said to smack themselves like with a rubber band. Just poke the rubber band on your wrist and retrain your brain. And a lot of us are, when we reach a certain age, we're like, oh, I am who I am. But you can always retrain yourself. You can always maneuver yourself into a higher frame of thinking. You have to take time to really get to know what you're saying to yourself and surround yourself with people who are saying things that match with what you want to be saying to yourself. It's not easy. It's not like we're born with the know-how of how to speak to ourselves or how to elevate our thinking or how to manipulate our mind into working in our best, working just for our best is really not the easiest thing to do, but it's totally worth it. I remember one time, back to battling with depression, I was like, I would go to sleep because that was my safe space and it was a place of escape. And I realized that in doing so, I had developed the habit of whenever something wasn't going my way, or I was upset about something, or I was sad about something, I would go to sleep. And that's when I realized, oh, being depressed can become habitual. Allowing yourself to be down in the dumps can become habitual. If you allow things to happen to you and okay, it happened, what am I going to do now? If you get into a place of action, then that would get you into the habit of being in a place of action rather than really like digging yourself into that hole that they were talking about on the Queen's Gambit. So it was like a mindset shift of, yeah, I need to do this rather than that. So it was a choice. And we have to realize too, with life, we always have a choice to make. You could do this or you can do that. And the beneficial thing to do is sometimes the hard thing. The thing that comes easiest, if it comes easy to you and it's like, wow, that's so easy to do. Yeah, you might want to question it, because the hard things are sometimes the things that mold us into the people that we're expected to be and we're supposed to be. So definitely, I wanted to focus on like mental health. I wanted to share what I battled with when I battled with depression and how I decided to come out of it. I think this is such a big part of spiritual warfare because it can take you out of the fight. How many people do we know who battle with depression on and off for years and they're just like, I just can't get out of it. It's just too much. And it's like, literally just change your habits. If you're used to just going in the house and sitting down in front of the TV, stop it. If you're used to just binging on snack food, stop it. We have to understand too that the battle is also in what we eat. What you consume is much more than media, it's also food as well. So a lot of the foods we eat, they give us a little high, a dopamine high, and then with that high comes a drop. So yeah, I like eating chips, I like eating candy, I like eating this, I like eating that, but you have to realize that that is also affecting your mental health. There are so many different aspects and just connections to the bigger picture of what's going on in your mind that we don't think about and we don't take note of. But it's all connected and it's all very much so important. So I just wanted to highlight those things. For everybody, I wish that you would be kind to yourself. And like I said, develop a respect for yourself. As much as we revere and respect all of these people we do not know on TV and in media, we have to take that same time to revere and respect ourselves and put ourselves up on a pedestal of the greatness that we have in us and the greatness that we are, and start saying things that really work out for us. Like, today is going to be a great day because I'm going to make it a great day. Things might not always go my way, but things are always going the best way for me. Say things that really like promote wellness within yourself. And that's such a good word, wellness. Like, a lot of times we just put ourselves in these dark predicaments and these dark places. And it's like, we don't have to. You don't have to do that. You don't have to think that way. You don't have to react that way. You don't have to be that way. It's so crazy, but at the blink of an eye, you can change. And it all starts with your mind. It all starts up here. In the blink of an eye, you can change the way you think, change the way you feel, change the way you act, change the way you are, change how you interact with yourself on a day-to-day basis and how you interact with others. In the blink of an eye. It's not easy. I won't say it's easy, but it's not complicated. It really just comes down to building the habits that best support the you that you would want to be and maintaining that. I love that name, maintain yourself. And it's definitely an ongoing everyday thing. Like, you want to make sure you're staying on top of it. Like, when you're in school and you have homework to do almost every day, sometimes double on the weekends, it's the same with yourself. Make sure you're studying yourself and you're learning yourself. And like I said, listing those things that you say to yourself that no one else knows about. Listing the things that other people around you say to yourself. Sometimes it's the people closest to you who can do the most damage. So you have to be wise. And that's why I call this the Warrior Podcast, because we are at war. And like I said, sometimes it's the people closest to you. So you have to enlighten yourself and open yourself up to thinking of it as that. Oh, they said this. Let me not accept that for myself. Let me combat that with something positive. Let me fight for myself, have the respect and the will to stand up for myself and to tell myself what I think about myself to be true. And if you don't think good things about yourself, then that is something that you should work on. But it is constant work. It's constant work. It's constant putting in the effort to be better, putting in the effort to uplift yourself, putting in the effort to affirm who you are. And if you're not sure, then that's why I love the Bible, because it will tell you exactly who you are. You're made in God's image. You are a conqueror. You are the head and not the tail. You're walking into abundance. All these things are your birthright. It's just a matter of claiming it for yourself and believing it for yourself and knocking away anything that doesn't align with that. And that comes from also being intelligent enough to know this person isn't good for me. That situation isn't good for me. That job is messing with my health, is messing with my peace, and putting yourself in situations that better serve you. So I would definitely say that is a part of maintaining yourself too, maintaining your environments, knowing what environments you should be in, knowing if your friend circle is positive or negative, knowing if the people in your workplace are positive or negative, not just seeking out things for yourself just to seek them out, but seeking them out with intention. God is all about intention. So when you wake up in the morning, set an intention for yourself. Today I'm going to do this. Today I'm going to make sure I get that done. Today I'm going to work on this. Today I'm going to be better at that. Constantly growing in this war that we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. Filling yourself up, because it's so easy to get emptied out. That is such an important thing. Like, we get emptied out on a day-to-day, so make sure you're pouring back into yourself in the way only you know how. We talk about love languages and how we want to give love, and I know a lot of people, when I talk to them, like, well, what's your love language? Like, first of all, most of them, but second of all, that's private information. Like, I don't just give that out, because over time you will learn what my love languages are. And I think we need to take that back to ourselves and learn, like, what are your love languages? How do you pour into yourself? How do you want to be talked to? And you attract what you are. So if you're attracting negative, then you're probably being negative. If you're attracting positive, then you want to make sure you stay purposefully on that track and attract those things to you and appreciate those things when they do come. So life is just ongoing, guys, and I just wanted to talk about the mental side of things, because it is so very important. And I know this was a very quick rant, but I think it was dire to hear and to understand from the perspective of being a warrior in this constant battle, that as a man thinketh, so is he. So be very intentional with your thinking. Gain a hold on your thinking. Decide what you're saying to yourself. And if it's not for the best, quit saying it. Just stop. And definitely just meditate on the fact that in the blink of an eye, you can change for the better. In the blink of an eye. I was talking to somebody earlier, and I was saying, when Jesus asked people did they want to be healed, it wasn't like, okay, I'll get to you next week. No, it was, okay, you want to be healed? Be healed. And I wish that for each and every one of you. I pray that if you are in a mindset where you want to be healed, you want to be enlightened, you want to be changed, you want to think for the better for yourself and for those around you, I pray that it happens in the blink of an eye. And if you believe and have the faith, then it will be so. And then we can continue this battle without having to worry about how we're thinking, because our thoughts are so important. And like I said, if your thoughts aren't aligned, it'll take you out of the fight. And I need each and every one of you to remain in this fight. Can't do it alone, and united we're so much better. So that is the episode for today. Maintain yourself, warriors. I love you guys, and I hope you guys have a splendid week. Speak positively to yourself. I'll do a video on affirming you guys and just giving you all the affirmations you need to be your best self. And until next time, warriors, stay in the fight. Love you guys. Bye.